Here we go. It's been a long night already, folks. Let me tell you.
Yes, Master 3000. Sorry, that might be a sex toy.
Yeah, well, it's not one I'm going to buy. That's a lot of horsepower. Or donkey power, for that matter. All right, we're a little slap happy, folks. It's late. We've been working.
This is the ugly truth. Everybody, welcome on in.
Boy, is it ugly.
Boy, is it ugly. That is correct. We have a good episode on tap for today. Something we have both, I would say, had some serious experience in, and we're talking about living in your sibling's shadow.
Oh, yeah.
Now, I am a middle child. Anybody who has siblings knows that there is a thing called middle child syndrome, where the middle child gets no attention. I'm going to dive into that. I have some reflections on it. Kind of looking back on childhood, and maybe a lot of it was in my mind. But I want to ask you first. You were the youngest.
Yes.
What was it? I guess living in your sibling shadow. Did you feel that was something that was going on, and how do you deal with that?
Yeah, I mean, look, I grew up in a small town, right? And so it was like if you didn't fit in, then it made it really bad, right? And so my oldest brother, John, was just wicked smart. And I mean, he just had it, and my middle brother, Jim, he was the athlete and, really good with the girls, and, he got decent grades. I mean, and so, but he was the consummate town guy, right? Mm-hmm. Like he fit in to what was going on around town. And then there was me. And I often wonder what the FedEx guy looked like, because it often makes me wonder if maybe there was something a little hanky panky going on, because I just really didn't fit the scene.
Gotcha.
Right. And so and I always told Mom, I'm like, look, I was, John had the smarts and Jim had the athletic ability and, was very charismatic. And I was born with the 3 F's. And for you people out there that don't know what the 3 F's are, it's fat, furry, and funny, right? Not always great traits to have. Now, the sense of humor came in.
I was going to say the funny one is a good one to have.
That's not a bad one to have, and it's really what kept me sane all these years. But when Mom and I actually moved to the city, we moved to Kansas City when I was halfway through my sophomore year. I really came into my own. I'm really kind of a city guy. The small town bullshit did not fit me well. And on the other hand, my brother, he fell right into that. He's a god in that town. And that's great for him. And I'm so happy that that's worked out for him, but it wasn't for me, and as for my older brother, he went off to college and never went back, and he's done incredibly well. So did I follow in my sibling's shadow? Yeah, I would say growing up, I did, in the town that we grew up in. There's no doubt about it. But it was cool too. I mean, there were some perks. There's some perks to being the youngest. Everybody thinks you're spoiled to the hilt. That's not necessarily true. I mean, there is some truth to that, I suppose. Everybody's like, oh, well, as the youngest, you have to wear the hand-me-downs. Well, I didn't. I was what was known as a husky kid. And when just say fat. Really, you're the husky kid. That's a nice way of saying you're fat. I mean, let's just say it. I wore Husky brand jeans, and that's a stigma. So they couldn't hand my brother's clothes down to me because I didn't fit in them. And what are you laughing at?
I just think that's funny.
Well, it's a little bit humorous, and so there's some stigmas that are true. There's some that aren't. But overall, it was cool. It was cool growing up with brothers, and today the funny part is that I actually get along really well with my brothers.
Yes.
And so, as you get older, you have those sibling rivalries and whatnot. I didn't really have them as much as my two older brothers.
Yeah.
Like they were really competitive and, one wanted the best of the other and who had more, hair on their chinny chin chin, like who's going to shave first and all that crap. And, I didn't really have that with them. I don't know that I didn't buy into it or they just didn't care enough about me to have that rivalry with me. But I know that you were the middle child.
Yes,
and you have an older brother and a younger brother.
Yes, all 1 year apart too. So
yeah. So and we see the same with us. All three of us were in high school at the same time.
Yeah.
And so that trust me, that makes it difficult as well.
It does. Well, being a middle child, they have a thing called middle child syndrome.
Yes. What is that?
It's where the middle child feels as if they are almost neglected in a way, because in my case, I had my older brother who was the smarts, the brains. It's like, oh, he's golden in a sense because he is going to achieve exactly what he wants to achieve. And look at him. Why can't he get as good as grades as him? Why not?
Yep.
Things of that nature.
Yep.
It's very smart and, very obvious. There wasn't any, I would say, animosity towards that or negativity or like, it's like, all right, we get along great. There wasn't much of a sibling rivalry at all in the sense that we disliked each other or wanted to outdo one another. We were all very different. So, and that was very evident all throughout our growing up. We were how different we were.
Yes, I totally agree with that. But the one thing I will say that my oldest brother used to do, this used to drive me nuts, right? He would come home and he would gripe to mom about, oh, I flunked this test. There's no way I passed it, blah, blah, blah. And he would get an A. Listen, when I came home and told mom, I failed the test, damn it, I got an F on that test. Like I never lied. I always told the truth. My brother, he was just dramatics, man. It was all, oh my God, there's no way I failed. I failed this test. There's no way. And he got an A every time.
Well, you know what they say? Under promise, over deliver.
Oh,
so he's coming
crying out loud.
He's saying he failed. And then when he gets an A, it's like, oh my God, look at you. You're so smart.
Yeah, but it's like crying wolf. At what point you're like, just shut up. We know you passed.
Exactly. Well, and then you have, and this is interesting because you were the youngest child. I look at my younger brother and I felt like, he's the baby, you got to look out for him. And I felt a sense of, in a way, responsibility. I like in a sense where, I want to make sure he's all right, but he gets more attention than I do. Why is that? So in a way.
But who does he get the attention from?
The parents, mom, dad. You're looking for a little bit more.
Okay.
And I think it's interesting because I look back now and I don't think either of them actually got more attention. I just brought more hardship onto myself because I like to cause trouble and I was mischievous.
I love it.
I would do stupid things. And so I would have the consequences handed down to me when the other two were much more, I don't know, they didn't require discipline. So in a way, sometimes I think my middle child syndrome was just sort of an illusion because now, I mean, there's never animosity between any of us or with my mom, or there was never any with my dad either. And I'm very much like him, maybe even more so than my two brothers. So I look back on it. I think sometimes we think we're living in our sibling shadow when in reality, we just all require very different types of parenting. Yeah. And so we see our sibling getting one type of parenting and we assume that's what we need too. And then we don't recognize when maybe our mom and dad are looking out for us in a different way and we just don't see it. So I think a lot of it is, we want more. And I don't know why that is.
Well, I think all kids want more.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, I think everybody wants the attention.
They want to be the favorite.
Okay. Now, listen, it's funny you should mention that because I've had this conversation with my mom a ton of times. And she's like, I did not have favorites. I'm sorry. Every parent has a favorite child if you have multiple children. Every one of you. You all are going to say, no, I don't. I love them all the same. And I believe that you love them all. but you don't love them all the same.
There's just a natural gravitation towards a certain
Yes.
kid, or and I
Yes.
think that's natural.
I don't think it's a malicious thing. I think that in our family, my mom really, really understood my oldest brother. They were very, very similar. And so I think, you have that in common
And
with
I was
them.
going to say, maybe it's not even a favoritism, then it's just more of an understanding. It's
Yeah.
like, this kid is very much like me.
That's true.
So we connect on a deeper level.
But it shows as if it's favoritism.
Yes.
Right. And so I think it's not a bad thing. I mean, but my mom is like, I absolutely do not have a favorite, and I love you all the same. And it's like, it's okay, Mom. I get it. I mean, I understand. I was born possibly from the FedEx man or the UPS guy. I mean, I'm not really sure, but at the same time, I will say it was cool growing up with brothers, and being the youngest. I will say there are many, many times where my middle brother saved my butt. Where I was in a bind, and he pulled me out of the fire. And so that's kind of cool, but there's other times where he pushed me into the fire. And so,
that's what the siblings are for.
Yeah.
They'll save you when you need to.
Yeah.
But they will also give you that extra challenge that you're not looking for. And it's like, all right, prove yourself.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. And my brother was all of that.
Right. And I think it's just important to note that if you think your parents showed favoritism, or maybe you're looking back at your childhood and it's like, I was neglected. I'd say look at the big picture and understand that I think every parent does the best they can, regardless of, and there's naturally going to be a gravitation towards certain kids.
Sure.
And I would also say, how much of it is your own doing? Because a lot of what I thought was neglect was actually me just being stupid, and bringing
amen, brother,
bringing things onto myself.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know what, listen, if you're struggling out there, if you're struggling with, siblings, or you're struggling with how you think you're being neglected by your parents, hey guys, listen, talk to them.
Have the conversation.
Right? Have the conversation with your parents. I mean, look, they're going to understand, or they might just tell you you're full of crap. It's humanly possible. I mean, we've all been told that, but at the end of the day, they're your parents. And like you said, Evan, there's no manual. There's no manual to tell a parent how to parent. It's all patchwork. It's all guesswork. We're guessing how to do the best we can. And that's what our parents did with us, guys. So you know what? Give your parents a break. They're doing the best they can.
Yes. And then if there were certain things that did not work out in your own upbringing, when you have kids one day, you can remember that and then correct it and bring so if anything, sometimes those hardships can be a learning experience, and you can pass on a better trait to the next generation. And
as you get older, you're gonna understand. You're gonna understand exactly what we're talking about, because things truly do change as you get older. Like I said, I love the relationships I have with my brothers now.
Oh, me too.
It's fantastic, and I couldn't be happier about it. So if you're struggling now, things will change, and they will get better, guys. And I will tell you, you're going to be much happier.
I agree.
And my friends, that is the ugly truth.
That's the ugly truth. Cheers to the ugly truth on siblings, parents, and the hardships of being young.
Hear, hear.
Hallelujah.
Follow us on all our social media outlets: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all of the above.
And we haven't mentioned this on our show, but we do live streams. So turn into our live stream. We don't know when the first one's going to be, but we'll post it on the social media when it's going to be. So be sure to follow on there, and you'll know. You'll never miss a beat.
You'll never miss a beat. Until next time.